These are my phone now.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the historic Fort Belvoir Officers Club. We are pleased that you are with us for today's retirement ceremony in honor of Command Sergeant Major Brian T. Bertazon. The host for today's ceremony is Brigadier General Ada T. Boras, Assistant Deputy Chief of Staff, G2, United States Army. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the arrival of the official party, the rendering of honors, playing of the national anthem, and remain standing for the invocation given by Military Intelligence Readiness Command Chaplain, Lieutenant Colonel Robert J. Bama.
bow with me in prayer. Our Father in heaven, we thank you for your many blessings. We thank you that we are one nation under God. We thank you for our precious liberty, which has been preserved for nearly 250 years. And we thank you for our rich heritage of leaders who have accepted the responsibility of preserving and defending this liberty from those who have sought to take it from us. It is in the spirit of gratitude that we thank you for leaders like CSM Bertazon. We are grateful for his many years of service to our nation, protecting us and defending our liberty. Because he has sacrificially and faithfully served us, his fellow warrior citizens, may you reward him with an outpouring of your goodness, your kindness, and your grace. May you grant him peace, prosperity, and fulfillment for many years to come. We now invoke your holy name and ask you to be among us and to bless this ceremony. We pray this all in the matchless name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to take the opportunity to acknowledge today's distinguished guests. CSM Bertazon's family and friends. Mrs. Jennifer Agnew, CSM Bertazon's spouse. Mr. Richard Bertazon, CSM Bertazon's father. Mrs. Joyce Kaminsky, CSM Bertazon's aunt and brother Alexander. Mrs. Carolyn Webb, CSM Bertazon's mother-in-law, and her friend, Mrs. Jody Friend. Mrs. Nia Namin and her husband Shahab, CSM Bertazon's daughter and son-in-law. Private First Class Mitchell Bertazon, CSM Bertazon's son. Ethan Bertazon, CSM Bertazon's son. Don McKinney and Mark Lotz, CSM Bertazon's cousin and fiance, and their children, Michael and Kelly. Randy and Gina Alexander, CSM Bertazon's cousin, and their children, Randy Jr. and Bobby. The Irizon family, Ernie, Nancy, Liam, and Olivia. The Dotson family, Mike, Jacqueline, Colin, and Harper. Brigadier General retired Joseph F. Basinski. Brigadier General David P. Warshaw, Director, Operational Analysis Department, Defense Threat Reduction Agency. Colonel Melissa K.G. Adamski, Commander, Military Intelligence Readiness Command. CW5 Bill Davis, Command Chief Warrant Officer, Military Intelligence Readiness Command. Mr. Luther Thomas Jr., Command Executive Officer, Military Intelligence Readiness Command. Colonel Bill Putnam, Deputy Commanding Officer, Military Intelligence Readiness Command. Colonel John J.P. Moore, Deputy Director, United States Army Evaluation Center, and his wife, Crystal. Colonel Randy Brown, G2, United States Army Reserve Command, and his wife, Rosie. Mr. Dwayne DeCann, Director, National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, United States Special Operations Command, and his wife, Jody. Command Sergeant Major T.J. Baird, Command Sergeant Major, National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, as well as all other senior officers, senior warrant officers, and sergeants major that are in attendance from across our Army. Command Sergeant Major Bertazon will now present a bouquet of roses to Mrs. Carolyn Webb, thanking her for her support and love throughout his career. Command Sergeant Major Bertazon will now present a bouquet of roses to Mrs. Joyce Kaminsky, thanking her for her guidance, love, and gentle nudge to make the United States Army a reality.
She's responsible for all this.
Command Sergeant Major Bertazon will now present a bouquet of roses to his daughter, Mrs. Nia Namin, thanking her for her support and love throughout his career, being his one and only little girl always. Command Sergeant Major Bertazon will now present a gift to his son, Private First Class Mitchell T. Bertazon, thanking him for his support, love, and continuing the Bertazon legacy in the United States Army.
Go Army!
Command Sergeant Major Bertazon will now present a gift to his son, Ethan Bertazon, thanking him for his support, love, and being the one who kept him inspired with his big heart at the end of his career. Lastly, Command Sergeant Major Bertazon has set up 2 vases with roses for his mother, Lee, and sister Tracy, who are not able to be with us today. They sacrificed so much to support Command Sergeant Major Bertazon during the many endeavors soldiers must take over such a long career. They are missed every day by the Bertazon family, and although they are gone from this world, they will never be forgotten and are here with us today. The purpose of today's ceremony is to honor Command Sergeant Major Bertazon, who has served our country with distinction. After 35 years of honorable service to the Army and the nation, every career military member comes to a time when they must put aside their uniform and retire. Today we pay tribute to Command Sergeant Major Bertazon, his wife Jennifer, and his family, who have helped support the defense of this great nation during a significant period of its history. Command Sergeant Major Brian T. Bertazon enlisted in the U.S. Army in May of 1989 from his hometown of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He attended basic training at Fort Dix, New Jersey as a member of Bravo Company 4th Battalion, 26th Infantry Division, and graduated as a member of Delta Company 111th Military Intelligence Brigade, where he obtained the military occupational specialty of imagery analyst. He graduated in December 1989 and proceeded to his first duty assignment at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. He was assigned to Alpha Company, 319th Military Intelligence Battalion, and served as an imagery analyst assigned to the 18th Airborne Corps Analysis and Control Element. He served as both an analyst and collection manager during Operations Desert Shield and Desert Storm. After the Persian Gulf War, he was internally reassigned to Charlie Company, 319th Military Intelligence Battalion, as supporting the Army's Tactical Exploitation of National Capabilities program. In February 1992, he was stationed overseas in Augsburg, Germany, and assigned to Bravo Company, 527 Military Intelligence Battalion, 66th Military Intelligence Brigade, where he worked as an imagery analyst at Field Station Augsburg. During his tour, he supported numerous operations in Somalia, Yugoslavia, Bosnia-Herzegovina, and Macedonia. He was temporarily assigned to the USS aircraft carrier George Washington, where he oversaw tactical unmanned aerial vehicle operations in support of NATO peacekeeping operations in the Balkans. Upon completion of his overseas assignment in 1995, he was assigned to Corps Main Intelligence Support Element, 297th Military Intelligence Battalion, 513th Military Intelligence Brigade at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. He served as a senior imagery analyst, and in this assignment, he supported 18th Airborne Corps Intelligence Initiatives and Army Intelligence Security Command priorities until his transition from active service in March 1997. Command Sergeant Major Bertazon immediately enlisted in the United States Army Reserve, assigned to the 478th Civil Affairs Battalion in Miami, Florida, where he was trained and certified as a senior civil affairs sergeant. In this assignment, he supported partner nation-building initiatives in Latin America. There, he worked with foreign militaries in Panama, Colombia, and Honduras. In October 1998, he was selected for instructor duty and assigned to the 5th Battalion Civil Affairs Psychological Operations 108th Training Division back at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, where he served as a senior instructor and course manager for the Civil Affairs course, and within 1 year was selected as the Division, United States Army Reserve, and Non-Commissioned Officer Association Instructor of the Year. With these accolades, in 2000, he was personally selected by the Commanding General of the United States Army, John F. Kennedy Special Warfare Center and School, to lead a pilot program instructing special warfare operators on nation-building strategies in support of operations in the Middle East. In the wake of September 11th, he taught over 200 Special Forces soldiers and helped posture our initial response forces in Afghanistan. In 2002, he was reassigned to the 6th Battalion, 108th Training Division, as a senior course designer for military intelligence. It was from this assignment that he was mobilized back to active duty in February 2002 and assigned to Alpha Company, 305th Military Intelligence Battalion, Fort Huachuca, Arizona, as the committee chief for geospatial intelligence, revamping the Imagery Analyst Advanced Individual Training and the Army's Tactical Exploitation of National Capabilities course. During this time at Fort Huachuca, he served a 12-month tour as a first sergeant. After his release from active duty in February 2005, Command Sergeant Major Bertazon was assigned to the United States Southern Command in Miami, Florida, a dynamic joint assignment where he served as the NCO in charge of the Geospatial Intelligence Division of the Joint Intelligence Operations Center. Between 2005 and 2006, he was reassigned to Detachment 4 of the 2200th Military Intelligence Group as the Detachment NCOIC, leading a team that supported Army geospatial intelligence operations of ongoing combat operations in Iraq. These missions provided direct support to the National Ground Intelligence Center and National Geospatial Intelligence Agency. In August 2008 until July 2013, he was reassigned as the 1st Military Intelligence Group Sergeant Major of the 2500th Military Intelligence Group at Jacksonville Naval Air Station, Florida, as a part of the command team that directed large-scale intelligence assessments for the NGIN. In his next assignment as the G7's Training Sergeant Major of the Military Intelligence Readiness Command, Fort Belvoir, Virginia, he focused on training strategies and force load management for all military intelligence specialties within the United States Army Reserve. Command Sergeant Major Bertazon began his command journey in November of 2013, when he was assessed into the Command Sergeant Major program, and in January 2014 was assigned to the 724th Military Police Battalion in his hometown, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. During his tenure, the battalion supported numerous combined situational training exercises and guardian justice detention exercises, to include a multinational mission at Camp Zama, Japan, in support of international relations. His battalion provided multiple deployments of personal security teams to VIPs in Iraq and Afghanistan, and led detention operations at Joint Task Force Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. In November 2016, Command Sergeant Major Bertazon was selected as the Command Sergeant Major for the 321st Sustainment Brigade in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, with over 2,500 soldiers, 19 separate units across 5 states in the deep south of the country. The brigade successfully deployed over 1,500 soldiers in support of contingency operations in Afghanistan and Iraq. The crowning moment, his assignment with the brigade, was being given the distinct mission to run the Iraqi Army Depot in Taji, Iraq. The brigade headquarters was directly responsible for all Iraqi Army material being received, processed, and delivered to multinational units battling ISIS in Iraq. In January 2019, Command Sergeant Major Bertazon was selected as the Command Sergeant Major for the 505th Military Intelligence Brigade, Camp Willis, Texas. As a member of the command team, he led efforts in supporting United States Army North assigned intelligence missions. Missions included support to Joint Task Force North in El Paso, Texas, United States Northern Command at Peterson Space Force Base in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and the El Paso Intelligence Fusion Center at Fort Bliss, Texas. The brigade led the Army North multinational exercise, Jaguar Strike, providing expert training to Mexican Army and Navy personnel. Lastly, Command Sergeant Major Bertazon mobilized in support of the COVID-19 pandemic, supporting defense support to civilian activities throughout the country. These activities directly supported the safety of military operations against maligned foreign interests during the pandemic. Command Sergeant Major Bertazon was selected for his final position as the Military Intelligence Readiness Command Division Level Command Sergeant Major in September 2020 in Fort Belvoir, Virginia. The command is comprised of 19 geographically dispersed subordinate commands spread over 28 states, consisting of 7 brigades numbering over 8,000 soldiers, civilians, and contractors. Command Sergeant Major Bertazon's leadership and persistence were critical in the manning, training, and equipping of 433 Merc soldiers, mobilizing and deploying and supporting combatant commanders across the globe. Command Sergeant Major Bertazon was a key and vital member of the Merc command team, ensuring that soldiers were ready when called upon. His actions, just within his final tour of duty at the Merc, culminating a 35-year military career, had a positive, significant, and lasting operational and strategic impact. Command Sergeant Major Bertazon has held leadership positions from squad leader to division command sergeant major. He is a graduate of the Imagery Intelligence Analyst course, Defense Sensor Imagery Analysis Training Program, the Civil Affairs course, Total Army Instructor Training course, the Small Group Instructor Training course, the National Intelligence Familiarization course, Equal Opportunity Representative course, Battalion Brigade Pre-Command course, Command Sergeant Major Development Program, Brigade and Battalion, Defense Support to Civilian Authorities Certified at all levels of NCOES, including the United States Army Sergeants Major Academy, Class of 36, the Nominative Leaders course, and as a Senior Fellow at the National Defense University Keystone Program. Command Sergeant Major Bertazon's awards and decorations include the Defense Meritorious Service Medal, 8 Meritorious Service Medal, Joint Service Commendation Medal, 4 Army Commendation Medals, Joint Service Achievement Medal, 9 Army Achievement Medals, Joint Meritorious Unit Award, Meritorious Unit Commendation, 3 Good Conduct Medals, 8 Army Reserve Component Achievement Medals, National Defense Service Medal with Bronze Star, both the Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary and Service Medals, Armed Forces Service Medal, Humanitarian Service Medal, Military Outstanding Volunteer Service Medal, Armed Forces Reserve Medal with M Device and Silver Hourglass, Driver's Badge, German Armed Forces Bronze Schutzingenieur Award, and the Military Intelligence Knowlton Award. Command Sergeant Major Bertazon holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Administration and Management from Excelsior University and is a member of the prestigious Sergeant Audie Murphy Club. In his civilian capacity, Command Sergeant Major Bertazon serves as the Deputy Director of the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency team, supporting the United States Special Operations Command at MacDill Air Force Base, Florida, orchestrating the daily operations of a global workforce supporting intelligence missions around the globe. He and his wife, Jennifer Agnew, reside in Riverview, Florida, and they have 3 children, Mia, Mitchell, and Ethan, and 1 grandson, Cyrus. Ladies and gentlemen, our host, Brigadier General Ada T. Juarez. Whew, that was a lot. That was a lot. But how could it not be? So first, in recognition, because I'm all the way over here in the corner. But in recognition, I know the military people in the room did not miss the fact that two ladies were, I guess, what would be the word? Sure, we'll go with that one. In jest, 2 ladies that for him, he says accounts for a lot of how he looks at life, how he looks at the two-sided nature of all the things that he does and where he goes in the future. I always like to start with the panicked look on the face of my XO in the back when she sees and understands that I'm going off script. But this time I did remember the right glasses, and there's too much to say to go too far off the script. So if you'll excuse me, every now and then I am going to look down at my script so I do not forget. For the team who put all of this together, every soldier knows that none of this happens without a core group of individuals that make things happen. And so for all of you today, it looks fantastic, and thank you for that hard work behind the scenes to make it the final salute to a soldier. A warm welcome to the family, friends, colleagues, and distinguished guests all here today to celebrate this major milestone in Sergeant Major Bertazon's life and career. I'm pleased to see so many familiar faces. It's interesting that it's so close to Thanksgiving because we all kind of know each other in this group,
the good, the bad, and the ugly, and a fight can break out at any moment. So, the number of distinguished guests here with us today is reflective of the impact Brian has made on our Army and the intelligence enterprise. With us here today is General Jasinski, Colonel Adamski, Chief Davis, Command Sergeant Major retired Luther Thomas, Colonel J.P. Moore, Mr. Dwayne DeCan, I'm going to forget people, so no one take it personal, and Sergeant Major T.J. Berry. These great leaders all knew you at various, sometimes multiple stops along your military journey, and all are here to celebrate you as you begin charting your next adventure. I'd also like to thank and welcome all who traveled from all points of the compass, as well as those viewing the ceremony virtually. I was told maybe, maybe not, but if it is, hi. Today's retirement ceremony is less about the end of something, but rather a celebration of everything achieved. But before we discuss Brian's impressive career and long list of accomplishments, which you all heard and I'm not going to repeat, I'd first like to talk about the personal support network that got him here today. All of you had a tremendous impact on Brian's career and his journey as an intelligence professional over the last 30-odd years would not have been possible if it were not for your contributions, teachings, love, support, and sacrifice. First, I want to acknowledge Brian's children, who are all here with us today. Nia, Mitchell, Ethan, everything that he does in power to keep his parents, his legacy, his love, all that he does is to ensure that you are proud of him. And I hope that you are today. You three are the light of his life. And I know Brian is so proud of everything you have and will accomplish in your lives. Brian credits Nia, the oldest, for teaching him how to be a father. She continues to bring constant joy in his new role as a grandfather. He said a whole bunch of things about baby girl, hair, drama, nails, and hairstyles that put him through his paces every single time he thought that he was Mr. Awesome. You brought him back to reality. BFC Mitchell Bertazon enlisted this past August and is currently attending advanced individual training at Fort Sam Houston in Texas. He will become a radiology technician and ensure the care of our soldiers throughout his time in service. But you've already been making strides in your life journey. You are an accomplished lacrosse player who set the Broward County scoring record in 2018. I think 69 goals, if I have that right. 72. Look at that. That is awesome. We're not counting, right? But more importantly, an honor usually reserved for someone who spends a lifetime doing something. Mitchell's jersey was retired at his high school. That achievement was so significant for them that they wanted that to be a beacon and a marker for all athletes in the school. I can't wait to see what you do in our Army. I know you're stressing out already, aren't you? And finally, there's Ethan, the youngest. Notice I didn't say baby. Oh, dang it. You keep your mom and dad on their toes daily. You followed your brother's footsteps into lacrosse, and very quickly you are forging your own path in that sport. But your dad tells me that you're a bit of a sneaker fan, and that at any point in time, I can ask the best sneaker out there, custom fitted for any athlete, sport agent, or military professional. So you and I are going to chat. And now for a bit of how it all began, or almost didn't. You see, as an intelligence professional, I make it my business to find details that they try not to tell me. And in this case, Jennifer apparently stood Brian up shortly after they met. Brian had invited her to a sports event, and he showed up, and she didn't. There are many conflicting details on the why from each of the parties involved. But I will summarize by saying that Jennifer taught Brian how to send a text message. So, Jennifer has always been Brian's great confidant, sounding board, advisor, and supporter. She provides candid feedback, ideas, insights, and inspiration to Brian every day. She has been critical to helping Brian maintain a healthy life-work balance, even if she almost gave him a heart attack the day she agreed to marry him. You see, Brian proposed at this beautiful thermal spa in Costa Rica. It was absolutely incredible from all of the details that I was able to garner by myself. But in his nervousness to put the ring on her finger, it slipped into the spa, and it was gone. Fortunately for all of us, this exceptional imagery analyst very quickly found the glint in the water, assessed the depth, recovered the ring, and completely kept it. He did not put it back on her finger. He waited till they got out of the pool, and then did take two. All joking aside, though, when Brian and I spoke, it was you and you that he wanted me to highlight. I realized quite quickly that I was never going to be able to do any of his words justice. How do you capture the totality of you, your life, and your journey in a paragraph worth of comments? You can't. So I'll say the most important and most impactful thing that Brian said in our discussion. And what he said was, the partnership that I have with Jen tells me every day that there is nothing worth doing without having her by my side. That, ladies and gentlemen, says it all. Jennifer is remarkable in her own right, though. She's an electrical sales engineer and has been for the past 30 years at the Eaton Corporation. She is a multiple-time Eaton Corporation President's Club Pinnacle Award recipient and continues to excel every day. Jennifer, you have been the rock of the family, sacrificing much for everyone's success, even while carving your own professional path. According to Brian, there is nothing you can't do, and he thanks his lucky stars and the universe that you said yes to sharing your life journey with him. Now, before we all devolve into tears, because I see it coming, I want to call out Brian's dad, Richard. We are all thank you for the gift of your son all these years in the Army. Your lessons of hard work, commitment, and dedication to family are present in everything your son does day to day at home and with his military family everywhere. Thank you. Thank you from all of us. Then there's Aunt Joyce. Brian tells me we also have you to thank for moving him to join the Army. Seems like there was a short but impactful conversation that challenged Brian to do more with his life than whatever it was he was doing at the time. He thanks you emphatically for that faithful push. Your encouragement to a young man led to a lifetime's mission and purpose to serve our great nation. Thank you. Thank you so much. Our family support network enables us to meet every challenge. And there are those here with us today and those who are not here today who help us in that journey. I would ask that at the end of today's events, if you have not had the opportunity to stop by the table, please take a moment to do so as you see how Brian has honored other family members. Mrs. Carolyn Webb, Brian's mother-in-law, he says you have been a staunch supporter to all of them in their pursuits. There is never a thing they ask of you that you don't do. So from the bottom of all their hearts, thank you for being the continuity in their lives. Brian would like me to recognize, I hope that you guys are picking up on this theme, right? Because we're here to retire Brian, but this is all we spoke of when we were preparing for this ceremony. And I found that to be incredibly impactful personally. And I'll get to my specific comments later. But Brian would like me to recognize several friends and relatives who traveled to be here today. From Florida, the Dotsons and Iruzun families, who both have been extremely helpful to their family. They have helped shape the passion in raising children who are primed to achieve great success in their lives. They have been the hallmark of their great friendship, and they thank you for all the love and the support. From Maryland, we have the Kaminskis, Lotz, Alexander, and McKinney families. To Brian, family is the most important thing that you can have in life. And you all exemplify what family really means. Brian, Jennifer, and the kids love you all very, very dearly. To Colonel J.P. Moore and Crystal, out there in the space somewhere. Your many years of friendship throughout a shared experience in the Army has made that time all the more special. Thank you so much. To all family, friends, because I did have to cut them off at some point. To all family, friends, and teammates celebrating Brian today, both in person, virtually, and in spirit, I want to thank you for all you have done for Brian, his family, the Army, and our nation. Your contributions to all of us are immeasurable. But Brian, finally getting to you. You know, it's interesting when folks help you with a speech because you want to do it justice. You want to ensure that in front of friends, family, loved ones, teammates, that you represent the best that you can. But sometimes that comes across impersonal. And so I'll apologize to my team right now because they did a great job putting stuff together, and I'm not going to use any of it. And I say that because this is the point where I get to speak from the heart, and I don't need to look down at my notes to do that. You've all heard of Brian's incredible success throughout his time in service. We specifically had the narrator detail that right at the front to give me an opportunity to not have to do that, to not have to count chapter and verse of how well he's done and how much we love having him around, how much he's taught all of us, and all of the things that he has yet to accomplish that he can't even conceive of. But I will look down for a couple of things, because I ask people, I know what I want to say, but what do other people say? And I said, I want you to tell me about Brian, and I want you to speak from the heart. And I'm not going to tell you who they are, but they know who they are. So I said, what do you think of him? And you could say as a son, as a father, as a brother, as a husband, as a friend, as a soldier. Clearly one of the most talented non-commissioned officers in the Army today and the finest military intelligence professional. He has been exceptional against every quantifiable standard for leadership in every unit he has served. Brian is a leader among his peers. This was from a peer. When I asked others, the descriptors were exceptionally competent, intense, resounding personality, complete professionalism. Brian combines a mastery of technical intelligence with superb leadership skills to be the best at everything that he does and bring out the best in everyone around him. He challenges the field to success and they respond. Not because they have to, but because they want to. Brian is an inspirational leader of character who delivers an absolutely impressive performance every time, all the time. Brian is confident, intelligent, inspiring, a gifted trainer who was recognized for that excellence, who can teach special operations professionals, military intelligence professionals, and pretty much anyone you put in front of him, he will shape and mold to create the best version of whatever we need whenever we need it. So I'll stop there because, those are what your peers, subordinates, and superiors think about you. This is when everybody gets nervous because I'm going off script and this could go forever. But I won't do that. I had the privilege of selecting Brian to become the Military Intelligence Readiness Command Sergeant Major. It was not an easy decision. The field was incredibly competitive, and some of them are here today. The challenge was to find the person who could do the job, but more importantly, could carry the burden of history moving forward. Because he was the first intelligence non-commissioned officer to achieve that weighty title. Up until then, we had not had a core group of senior non-commissioned officers available to step into that role. And so he was climbing Mount Everest from the point of selection. Did I select him because of his technical knowledge? Nope. I expect that. Did I select him because he role models what a sergeant major should look like? Nope. I expected that. I selected him because when we talked about his thoughts about how he would manage a globally dispersed command with people literally all over the world, all different time zones, in regular positions and in positions in conflict, how would he manage not just those soldiers abroad, but the soldiers left behind and their families? Usually, when you ask a hard question like that, people take a moment, they pause, stall, and then they start to speak. The most impactful thing about Command Sergeant Major Bertazon is that he didn't do that. And he wasn't flying by the seat of his pants in the answer either. He had thought about not just the question I asked, but all the questions I didn't ask. Most importantly, how he would take care and help mentor the leadership of the command through all the crises that we had faced, we would face in the future, and we could not yet conceive of what would challenge us in that future. That he would provide sage counsel at every moment, that he would be true, that he would be confident, and that he would speak truth to power at personal cost without second thought. That his love of family, his faith, his enthusiasm, and his ability to keep going like the Energizer Bunny would help the entire command weather any form, any issue, any conflict with poise, with grace, with confidence, faith, and security. The security that as teammates, not just in uniform, but in the families that we have, we would come together, we would hold each other close, we would weather any storm, and we will remain standing. That was his answer. Like, I had 6 more questions. I never asked them. How do you top an answer like that? You don't. And so I selected him, I called the others, told them who I selected. It's always interesting to hear their commentary. And every single one of them was like, yep, I knew once he got in the running, I was climbing Mount Everest. I'm glad it was him. But they would have said that for any of those competitors. Every single one wants the best to be there. Personally, Sergeant Major Bertazon helped me weather some storms in the command. You and I both know what those are, and they'll stay there. I can tell you he was true to his promise to speak truth to power. He helped guide, mentor. Commanders, it's the loneliest position in the entire Army. It's the loneliest position in the entire Army. It was made less so by the presence, the counsel, and the absolute professionalism of Sergeant Major Bertazon. For me personally, and I know that he's done that for the 2 subsequent commanders of the organization. No one knows what the future holds, whether it's his family here, his family at NGA, or his family. Sergeant Major is going to give 200% to everything that he does. He is going to walk a path to history that only he can walk, and all of us are just watching. The number of people that we have here today, and I know a lot of folks like to come to the ceremonies and such. The people who travel, the people who put on a uniform on Saturday, right? Make the point to be here. Those are the people who reflect the value that you added to every job, every position, every opportunity that you have held, and your ability to care about all you do and all the people you have done it with throughout these 30-odd years in the Army. Thank you for your tremendous service to our intelligence enterprise, the Army, and our nation. Congratulations once again on this momentous occasion. You have so much to be proud of, and I can't wait to hear more about all your adventures to come as you begin this new chapter with Jennifer and your extended and growing family by your side. And now I will turn it back to the moderator so that they can keep us straight on what we're getting ready to do. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause for Sergeant Major Bertazon.
Yeah, I need that.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we commence with the retirement ceremony, Brigadier General Boris would like to recognize Mrs. Jennifer Agnew for her dedication and love and support. We kindly ask that you remain seated and hold your applause until all awards and certificates have been presented. Thank you. The Secretary of the Army has awarded the Public Service Commendation Medal to Mrs. Jennifer Agnew. Mrs. Agnew has distinguished herself through significant contributions to the United States Army and the Department of Defense during her service as a senior spouse within the Military Intelligence Readiness Command, and nearly 20 years in support of her husband's career and the Army family. The Golden Rose Award was established in June 2004 by the Military Intelligence Corps Association. It is intended to recognize those select individuals whose exemplary volunteer service has contributed significantly to the betterment of the Military Intelligence Corps, military intelligence community, and the Army family. It singles out for recognition those few individuals who have made a difference through service. We are honored to be able to recognize Mrs. Jennifer Agnew for her service to the Corps. Brigadier General Boris will now present Mrs. Agnew with the Golden Rose Medal and Certificate. The Golden Rose is the embodiment of loyalty, dedication, commitment, and service above self. So too, these individuals embody these same qualities and therefore represent the very best of the Military Intelligence Corps. Therefore, the Military Intelligence Corps Association acknowledges that these individuals are among those select individuals who are recognized for outstanding volunteer service to the MI Corps. Please join me in a round of applause for our newest Brigadier General Boris will now present Command Sergeant Major Bertazon with his retirement award. Attention to orders. To all who see these present screenings, this is to certify that the President of the United States of America, authorized by Act of Congress 20 July 1942, has awarded the Legion of Merit to Command Sergeant Major Brian T. Bertazon, United States Army, for exceptionally meritorious service while serving in positions of increasing responsibility, culminating a distinguished 35-year career as the Command Sergeant Major, Military Intelligence Readiness Command. Command Sergeant Major Bertazon exhibited outstanding leadership, professionalism, initiative, and dedication, along with sincere concern for the welfare of soldiers, civilians, and families. His dedication and selfless service contributed to the success of each unit in which he served. Upon retirement, Command Sergeant Major Bertazon is recognized for distinguished performance of duty that represents exemplary achievement in the finest traditions of the United States Army. By order of the Secretary of the Army, this 18th day of November 2023, signed Jody J. Daniels, Lieutenant General, U.S. Army, Commanding. Brigadier General Boris will present Command Sergeant Major Bertazon his retirement certificate. Having served faithfully and honorably in the United States Army, Command Sergeant Major Bertazon was retired from the United States Army. Please take your seats.
There's going to be a lot, and so for the non-military in the crowd, please take a seat.
Command Sergeant Major Bertazon was retired from the United States Army on the 31st of December, 2023. Sergeant Major Bertazon is receiving a certificate of appreciation from the President of the United States for service in the Armed Forces of the United States of America. The The certificate reads, I extend my personal gratitude and the sincere appreciation of a grateful nation to you for your patriotic service to our country. Your bravery and dedication in our armed forces helped protect your fellow Americans during a critical moment in our history and contributed to a world of greater security and growing prosperity. Your devotion to duty, honor, and country, in keeping with the long traditions of the finest military in the world, embodies the American ideal of selfless service. Our nation owes you an incredible debt. Your commitment and the example that you set will inspire future generations to serve with pride and to keep our country secure. You represent the best of our nation, and I join our fellow Americans in saluting your honorable service. Signed, Joseph R. Biden, Jr., Commander-in-Chief. Command Sergeant Major Bertazon is receiving a certificate of appreciation from the Chief of the Army Reserves. The certificate reads, on the occasion of the completion of your active reserve service, I wish to extend to you my personal thanks and the sincere appreciation of the United States Army for your devotion to duty and the many years of outstanding service which you have given to our country. Brigadier General Boris will present the Army Congratulatory Letter on behalf of the Secretary of the Army, Chief of Staff of the Army, and Sergeant Major of the Army, thanking Command Sergeant Major Bertazon for his 35 years of service. This letter indicates that although Command Sergeant Major Bertazon is retiring, he will always represent the Army and is a soldier for life. Brigadier General Boris will present a personal letter and coin on behalf of the Director of the Army Staff. The letter reads, I would like to extend my best wishes and give my sincere appreciation for your 35 years of service to our nation. You and your family have made many sacrifices and endured countless hardships in order to make the United States Army the premier fighting force in the world. On behalf of the soldiers, civilians, and their families, thank you for all you have done. You have made a real difference in the lives of thousands, and your legacy will live on in those you have influenced along the way. We are a better Army because of your leadership and dedication to soldiers and the mission. Cynthia and I hope you and Jen find the personal fulfillment and retirement you so richly deserve. Signed, Walter E. Hyatt, Lieutenant General, United States Army. Brigadier General Boris will present a personal letter and coin on behalf of the Sergeant Major of the Army. The letter reads, on behalf of the soldiers and non-commissioned officers of the United States Army, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks for your service. Your professionalism, selfless service, and dedication to our nation will be remembered and cherished. It is because of individuals like you that we are winning this war and making this world a safer place to live for all people. You should be extremely proud of all that you have accomplished during your career. Thank you for upholding the proud traditions of our armed services. Kimberly and I wish you and Jen the best of luck for continued success in all your future endeavors. Signed, Michael R. Weimer, Sergeant Major of the Army. Brigadier General Boris will present a personal letter and coin on behalf of the Deputy Chief of Staff of the Army G2. The letter reads, Dear Command Sergeant Major Bertazon, Sergeant Major Melendez and I would like to thank you for your 35 years of exemplary service. Your dedication to our profession and mentorship to our future leaders made a lasting impact across our intelligence enterprise, laying the groundwork for future generations. Your leadership through a period of significant change enabled vital intelligence operations and expeditionary support to various mission sets. You have our gratitude for the important role you played in enhancing readiness and training through your innovation and expertise. On behalf of the entire Army G2 team, the Army Intelligence and Security Enterprise, the U.S. Army, and our great nation, best wishes to you and your family, and may your next chapter be as rewarding as the last. Signed, Laura A. Potter, Lieutenant General, Army Deputy Chief of Staff, G2. Brigadier General Boris will present a personal letter on behalf of the Chief of the Army Reserve and United States Army Reserve Command Commanding General. The personal letter reads, Congratulations on your retirement. This is a tremendous achievement. This letter is a small token of my appreciation for your honorable service and dedication to the Army Reserve. Thank you for your many contributions to the readiness of our force. The soldiers, civilians, and families of the Army Reserve are grateful for the unwavering commitment of individuals such as yourself. As your distinguished career draws to a close, I salute your many years of selfless service to our great nation. Best wishes as you and Jen take the next steps of your journey. Ready now, shaping tomorrow. Signed, Jody J. Daniels, Lieutenant General, Chief of the Army Reserve, Commanding General, U.S. Army Reserve Command. Brigadier General Boris will present a personal letter and coin on behalf of the Commanding General of the Army Intelligence and Security Command. The letter reads, "Thank you for your 35 years of selfless service to our nation. Your commitment to the Army across a myriad of assignments was nothing short of outstanding, and you should be proud of your many accomplishments. I understand how much time and energy each assignment demanded of you, and appreciate your sacrifice. The hard work and proven leadership you exhibited set a standard that will be hard to emulate and not soon forgotten. Congratulations on your retirement, and I wish all the best for you and your family. Signed, Michelle H. Friedenkamp, Major General, Commanding General, U.S. Army, Commanding." Brigadier General Boris will present gifts on behalf of the Sergeant Major of the Army Reserve and the Army Reserve Senior Enlisted Council. These gifts are presented to all Command Sergeants Major who serve a successful tour as a nominative Command Sergeant Major and serve as members of the Army Reserve Senior Enlisted Council. The Council wants to extend to you their personal thanks and the sincere appreciation of the United States Army for your devotion to duty and the years of outstanding support which you have provided to the Council, your soldiers, and the Greater Army Reserve. Mrs. Agnew, please join your husband at the center of the stage. Right there. Mrs. Agnew is receiving a certificate of appreciation from the Chief of Staff of the Army for grateful appreciation for Mrs. Agnew's unselfish, faithful, and devoted service.
Stand by.
When observing an honor guard during the folding of the flag, you may notice how the meticulous process results in the flag being folded 13 times. You may have thought this symbolized the original 13 colonies. However, each step has a separate and very distinct meaning. The first fold of our flag is a symbol of life. The second fold is a symbol of our belief in eternal life. The third fold is made in honor and remembrance of the veterans departing our ranks who gave a portion of their lives for the defense of our country to attain peace throughout the world. The fourth fold represents our weaker nature, for as American citizens trusting in God, it is to Him we turn in times of peace as well as in time of war for His divine guidance. The fifth fold is a tribute to our country, for in the words of Stephen Decatur, our country, in dealing with other countries, may she always be right, but it is still our country, right or wrong. The sixth fold is for where our hearts lie. It is with our heart that we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The seventh fold is a tribute to our armed forces, for it is through the armed forces that we protect our country and our flag against all her enemies, whether they be found within or without the boundaries of our republic. The eighth fold is a tribute to the one who entered into the valley of the shadow of death, that we might see the light of day. The ninth fold is a tribute to womanhood and mothers, for it has been through their faith, their love, loyalty, and devotion that the character of the men and women who have made this country great has been molded. The 10th fold is a tribute to the Father, for He too has given His sons and daughters for the defense of our country since they were first born. The 11th fold represents the lower portion of the seal of King David and King Solomon and glorifies, in the Hebrews' eyes, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The 12th fold represents an emblem of eternity and glorifies, in the Christian's eyes, God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The 13th and final fold, or when the flag is completely folded, the stars are uppermost, reminding us of our nation's motto, "In God we trust." After the flag is completely folded and tucked in, it takes on the appearance of a cocked hat, ever reminding us of the soldiers who served under General George Washington and the sailors and Marines who served under Captain John Paul Jones, who were followed by their comrades and shipmates in the armed forces of the United States, preserving for us the rights, privileges, and freedoms we enjoy today. this flag was folded in special honor of your outstanding career and support to the Military Intelligence Readiness Command. Your lasting impact will be felt for generations, and the soldiers and civilians of the Military Intelligence Readiness Command thank you for your leadership and hope this flag will remind you of your time as our Division Command Sergeant Major and senior spouse.
Hey, Dad! Oh! I'm older. Oh! America, may God thy gold refine. Till all success be nobleness. You know when I was in school, we used to sing it something like this. Listen here. From here to there.
As our final gift to Command Sergeant Major Bertazon, Brigadier General Boris will present Command Sergeant Major Bertazon with a salute of honor on behalf of a grateful nation, the Army, and our fallen comrades. Ladies and gentlemen, Command Sergeant Major Bertazon, United States Army, retired. Please take your seats. Mrs. Agnew, could you please come up to the center of the stage? On this majestic evening, November 18, 2023, a historic event is about to unfold at the iconic Fort Belvoir Officers Club. The audience gathered to behold the coronation of Jennifer Agnew as the Royal Queen of the Bertazon realm. The historic Fort Belvoir Officers Club, bedazzled with splendor and elegance, serves as the exquisite setting for this monumental occasion. Elegant decorations and illuminations grace the venue. Overlooking the mighty Potomac River, the Grand Ballroom serves as the pinnacle place for such a historic and prestigious event. Jennifer Agnew stands radiant in her regal attire, resplendent in the finest royal gown, emblazoned with dazzling accents and stunning diamonds. Her beauty and majesty command the attention of all present. Arrayed in their dress uniforms, gathered to perform the crowning ceremony. Make sure your cameras are on. Jennifer kneels with humility as the grand crown of Bertazon is placed upon her head, gleaming with splendor. Queen's crown jewels are on display for all in the land to admire. With unwavering confidence, we proclaim in resounding voices, Jennifer Agnew, we hereby declare you the royal queen of the Bertazon realm and sovereign over all its majestic lands and valuable assets. May your reign be long and glorious. Queen Jennifer promises a rule of prosperity, justice, and unity. She vows to preserve and enhance the heritage of Bertazon for generations to come. With Jennifer Agnew crowned as queen, the Bertazon realm embarks on a new era of promise and hope. United under their new sovereign, the realm prepares to embrace a brilliant and illuminated future. The inscription on the crown jewels reads as follows: Queen Jennifer A. Agnew I. Thank you for your love and support, Queen Jennifer. May your reign over the Bertazon realm be as rewarding and successful as your unwavering support to your husband's career in the United States Army. This 18th day of November 2023, we love you. All hail Queen Jennifer.
Yes, Your Majesty.
At this time, we ask that Command Sergeant Major Bertazon's command team members, family, and friends come up and address Command Sergeant Major. Colonel Melissa Adamski, Commander, Military Intelligence Readiness Command.
This is the best ceremony I have ever attended, of epic proportions. Amazing. So as I was reading through the rucksack, if you look at your programs there, during Sergeant Major's long bio, I saw some really good nuggets to serve with. And I realized even more why I like Sergeant Major Bertazon so much. Just an amazing person and role model to serve with. Brigadier General Boris, Mrs. Queen Jennifer Agnew, distinguished guests, family, and friends. What a ceremony, what a venue, and what an occasion. Command Sergeant Major Brian Bertazon's service as a senior enlisted advisor to all commanders at all levels was remarkable. His dedication to the Military Intelligence Profession of Arms and the Military Intelligence Readiness Command was unmatched. I thank you and your family for all of this. It was clear to me when I met Command Sergeant Major Bertazon that he was a special kind of leader. He understands and articulates issues and solutions of any Army topic at the graduate level. He takes initiative to solve problems and does not waver when there are obstacles in the way. He gets things done. He cares deeply about soldiers, takes care of them, and mentors them at all ranks and all levels, including me. He has been a mentor to me since day one in command, and I truly appreciate his wise counsel and candid insights in the time that we have served together. I feel like he was made to be the MERT Command Sergeant Major. I am privileged to have served with him as a command team. As great as he is also a little scary. He will go full metal jacket on you. I heard yelling one day, really loud yelling. I rushed out of my office. What's going on? What is the emergency? And I found him in his office on FaceTime with his son, Private First Class Bertazon. Say, get a parade rest, Private. Do you know who you're talking to? And I was scared. Now, I found out later that his son just laughed at him on FaceTime. But I was scared. He was making sure that his son knew how to address the Command Sergeant Major. I think you learned well. Clearly, your father has inspired you, like he inspired me, and countless soldiers to serve our great army. As we farewell Brian Bertazon, I am excited that Mitchell Bertazon is here to continue the legacy. Nia and Ethan, no pressure to join the Army, but we would love to have you too. CSM, while your service to soldiers has come to an end, I know that you will continue to serve with NGA and in other capacities, and I know you will continue to enjoy the benevolent rule of Queen Jennifer. Jennifer, you have served the Army through your support to Brian and have invested your time to make Army lives better for families. Brian said there was nothing worth doing without you, and now you have some more time to do things together. I wish you and your family the best in all your future endeavors. Thank you so much for your time that I was able to spend with you in command. All the best.
CW5 Bill Davis, Command Chief Warrant Officer, Military Intelligence Readiness Command.
Good evening, Sergeant Major.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, General Forrest. Good evening, Jennifer. Family and friends, was asked to talk about Sergeant Major for just a few minutes. Wasn't sure what I wanted to share, but I chose two things. First, it's very evident by the people that are here. Sergeant Major Bertazon, Brian, has a heart, and he loves every single one of you. And you see that in his actions every day, especially you, Jim. I got to see it firsthand. I got to share it, hear the conversations. That's an important part of who he is. And he wears it on his sleeve. And he believes in soldiers. He believes in the job. And even though he's cashing in at the end of 35 years, it is another selfless act. And I know that. I get to take that with me. The second one is a little bit more fun, because whenever you look into Sergeant Major's eyes, it's like looking at a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old little boy. Always full of excitement and wonder. You never know what he's going to say at the table. And it's beautiful. And you know his heart is always in the right place. To have somebody that has been able to carry an entire military career on his shoulders and take the fervor and the beauty of life that you see in a 2-year-old's eyes and continue that every day is amazing. This is my battle. Not the first, not the last, but I will certainly have a place in my heart for him always. Sergeant Major.
Mr. Dwayne DeCann, Director, National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, United States Special Operations.
He's the happiest person in the room.
I'm good. So, the day is finally here. Warm up. Dr. Morris, thank you very much for inviting us. This was a great occasion for Brian. One that I know has waited on his heart and his mind for a long time. So I'm glad it's finally here. Jennifer, congratulations. Me. So the best way to keep from going off script is not to have a script. So really, I just wanted to thank all the distinguished guests. God, Brian, there's a lot of people here. How many did you pay? For those that don't know, Brian and I, together in his other life, run an organization of NGA analysts that support special operations. And there's a lot of parallels here because, you know, in the civilian world, a lot of his analysts are like, he's really scary. But as much as he loves playing the bad cop, I know he's got a good heart. He loves them all. I don't get the chance very often because he loves that role. I am learning, so if he does give me the opportunity, I'm ready to take it. But really, Brian, congratulations. It's a pleasure to work with you. Jody and I are honored to be here.
Honored to thank you all.
And really, I'm proud to be your partner. And even more so, really honored to be your friend. So,
I agree.
thank you very much.
So much for that.
Colonel Randy Brown, G2, United States Army Reserve
Well, for full disclosure, I'm no longer the USAR G2, hence the fancy hardware here. My title now is Farmer. Welcome to the retirement room, Sergeant Major. Long overdue. It's going to be a quick turn and burn. Come see you and head back to the farm to do obligations there.
Got crops to do, sir?
One good change with retirement is I now actually get to see the sun come up and down. For the first time, I work somewhere that doesn't have, or that I have no windows. And in my career, Sergeant Major has been there 3 times, pushing me along, making me a better officer, making me a better commander, making me a better staff member. Also, there are half a dozen or so 505th members in the room, or former 505th members in the room, that I sure will also agree with things I'm about to say. There is one former brigade sergeant major, one battalion sergeant major, and the brigade CCWO. His arrival, I'm sorry. The first time I met him, I was at the 377th of my battalion. I was the XO, and Mr. Bertazon calls me and he says, "Hey, I work over here at Southcom. I'm also a master sergeant. I'm in big. I'd like to have you come over and talk to me. I want to show you some stuff." So I go over, and right away he shows me this big room. He goes, "See all these computer systems and terminals? Because these are empty on the weekend." He goes, "Why don't you have your soldiers come in here and use them?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's great. You know, Southcom, 470th, 377th was over 470th. What a great arrangement. And here's a man that's going to give up property and real estate to do that." And the next thing I know, within a month, Sergeant Major Mr. Bertazon has our soldiers lining up to get badges. And the 470th Ace Chief is now on the ground there helping our soldiers doing reach back from those facilities. So I appreciate you for that. Have success with 377. As the 505th of my brigade commander, I realized that I probably, as the general had alluded to, is probably receiving, if not one of the best sergeant majors, although there are really great ones out here. I was really grateful that I got this one. I think we only had 1 or 2 drills together, and this is when COVID kicked off, and being aligned to our north, 505th of my brigade was on the chopping block for getting mobilized. General Boris called. She gives me the news, and I forgot the timeline. It was super short to get soldiers mobilized. And then her last words to me were, "Randy, if you need anything, you just call me." At the time, I couldn't think of anything. I hang up the phone. I don't think it was 30 seconds. I'm like, I need the sergeant major. So I called the commander, and she's like, "Gotcha." And I think she had orders like the very next day, bring Sergeant Major Bertazon to San Antonio, Fort St. Houston, for the mobilization. At the 505th, we were one of the organizations in the Army that could not telework. So we relied on our North, and our North was now one of its biggest operations in 3-4 years. I loved how he arrived, and one of the NCOs called us room Aggies, and I've never seen so many soldiers trip and stumble over themselves, and I think it was sort of exactly how Colonel Adamski said is sometimes Sergeant Major's scary, and those youngsters, I knew were scared. I was grateful for always the commander's advice that he would give me, or the Sergeant Major's advice that he would give me. There were many late nights where we would sit and talk, and always very candid, as already illustrated. And because of the plethora of information that's in his head, he's an MI expert, right? I mean, he knows everything, not just in GOM, but across the spectrum. And so it was very beneficial because I got both sides. I got the MI advice and I got the soldier advice. And thank you very much for all that soldier advice. I'm probably not in jail. Some more kudos during that time. We were very busy. I think the first couple of days we were at 20 hours of work. The S1's here. She was lying on the floor, passed out, I think, when he walked in. Can't see her. We had 2 Trojan Spirits up and running. Anybody that's worked on that system knows it's a big piece of junk. It very rarely works, but because of the Sergeant Major's leadership and helping those NCOs out, those systems were always up and ready to go. We ran an ECP. What a fine act of work, and that was all done by the Sergeant Major. Running SIGINT operations, GM operations, AISH operations, and now DISCA. And for Intel, for the Intel folks, we do incident assessment and awareness, just so you know we were doing Intel. Walk out of here with the QIA. So during this time, we had soldiers spread across the whole United States deployed by our North to provide the IAA to many of the commanders. Many who received coins and letters and awards. And so upon the demobilization, we felt, and through the Sergeant Major's counsel, that we had to do it the real Army way. And so in the midst of COVID, masks, cleaning gear all over the place, he's like, "Dude, we gotta do formation." And I'm like, oh my God. And sure as anything, Sergeant Major put together soldiers like 7 foot apart from each other in either direction. It was the largest formation for 50 people I've ever seen. Division-sized formation. And everybody had masks. Sergeant Major made sure all staff had masks. There was a soldier right next to Sergeant Major and I with handy wipes. And every award got wiped off. Every plastic sheath got wiped off. The hands got wiped. We shook 50 people's hands every single time. It was all by Sergeant Major's design. And I think those soldiers will walk away forever grateful for the Sergeant Major's leadership in making sure that happened. As a USART G2, obviously I had to travel a lot. And every time I traveled, there was Sergeant Major. And being the USART G2, sometimes the MSCs, they just don't have the right picture, right? And always being an advocate of the firm. Sergeant Major usually sat right by me. I would tip off how to do better production, how to get more reach back, how to get more money, bang for your buck. And then he would just hit it out of the park. He'd stand up right after me. And I go like, damn, I don't have a Sergeant Major assigned to me, but it sure doesn't feel like I have one. And so those are the 3 times in my life. I just want to say thank you very much
evening, everyone. Joe for us. Fellow Merkians, Merck family. So some leaders are born, some leaders are built, but great nominative level sergeant majors are able to put it all together and have the wherewithal to lead in the midst of the hardest decisions and believe when there's nothing to believe in. So, thank you for believing in me, right? When I talked you into competing for the 505th and having a vision, right?
Yeah, I was going to go fishing.
I know you were. He was. But thank you for leading and always being true to power, right? And always leading in the midst of everything, always taking care of soldiers, always taking care of people. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Mike.
And you've made history. We talked about that. You've made history. Whoa.
No, you're good. You're good. I got some I need to say. My name's Bill Putnam. I'm the deputy commander of the Merc. And the first time that I met Brian Bertazon was in September 2020 when he first came over to be the Merc Sergeant Major. I was the G3. And in his first month, he was just beating us up all the time. So Colonel Rick Warfield and I once said, that guy drinks a lot of haterade. Anybody who knows him knows he does that. But as we got to know him more and more, we realized there was a very gentle side to him. And it was all about caring for soldiers and making sure that they were trained ready. And he would do whatever he had to do, whether he was going to kick them in the butt, whether he was going to blow in the ear, and everything in between. So I got ready to go take command, and then I noticed that my change in command at Fort Dix, New Jersey, he's there with his wife. She's there confused because she's like, we're on vacation and we're at Fort Dix. This makes no sense. She's like, I'm not sure how I got here. And it was a really class act on his part because he didn't have to be there, but he said, I want to be there to support you. I greatly appreciate that. It meant the world to me. And what I will miss the most is the opportunities we've had to sit in your office or mine and talk for an hour about a lot of things. We don't agree on everything, and we shouldn't, but we make each other better. And that's the one thing I've always appreciated about him. He wants to help everybody be better. So I'm going to give you a compliment that some in this room will understand, but most won't. My father was a command sergeant major. He was a corps sergeant major. He was the hero of my life and mine. And I have a very big picture of him in my office to remind me of who I am and where I come from. So I'm going to say something that I've only said one other time in my career. My dad would have loved Soldier, and I wanted you to hear it.
Sergeant Major, this is a gift from Lisa and me to you and Jen. It is handcrafted in Bisbee, Arizona. It is one of a kind. And that is a gift of friendship. Every time that you see that, I want you to remember this.
Thank you so much, Chief. I'm so sorry she couldn't be here, but please tell her thank you so much. We love her.
All she wants is a picture
Of us.
of us.
First of all, he's the MF Sergeant Major. He's not just a Sergeant Major, he's the MF Sergeant Major. I'll keep it clean because we're live. The other thing we learned is that he does have an extensive career, so in the case of old age, we figured we would have it engraved on this box so that he would remember where he's been and what he's done. We also know that he was a member of the Audie Murphy Club and still is to this day and still carries that and holds that club very proudly, so we have that engraved on both sides. We put some lights in there because we know his eyes are going to get bad, so we put lights on. And then we put shot glasses in there when he gets really, really old and realizes that he's forgotten everything with each of his grades and what year he received that grade in his career. So Sergeant Major, on behalf of all of us, thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, our guest of honor, Command Sergeant Major Brian T. Bertazon.
Well, I know that for most of us, everybody just wants to go to the bathroom. I do. I don't know. The age group here is definitely, something to be desired. Little kids, you'll know what I mean one day. Let's get these presentations up, because like a good Command Sergeant Major, I'm going to end this with a 140 slide PowerPoint. Because that's what you all deserve, the best from your division Command Sergeant. Do we got both sides cranked here or what? I'm not starting until it's up there. Let me know when we're up, G6. Alright, so this is CSM Bertazon's Retirement Guide for Dummies. Okay? So there's a couple things you got to do. Number one, and it was debatable today, you got to show up. One more time. I'm here, I did it, okay? Number two, you got to have a great presiding officer. Come on, please put your hands together for General Board. I wouldn't be here today without her, and I'm forever grateful, ma'am, for your friendship, for your leadership, and for the journey that you provided for us in the Merc, and more so the one you set me on. So for you and Mike Robinson, thank you very much. Okay, next, get it? You did that. Collect some hardware and cool stuff. All right, I did that. Jen. I think Jen's definitely what Queen Jennifer's way better off than I am. But I got to tell you, Chris, I think you hit a 1A with that last one, and I'm so very grateful for that. So we've done that. Click it. Next one. Make sure they say nice things about you. I'm really impressed. Nobody up here came out and said, that guy sucks. So everybody said really good things about me, and so we got that taken care of. One more. Be married to a queen. Come on. Everybody's not going to be able to say that tonight. Check. Hit it. Next one. Throw a real good party. I know it doesn't seem like it now because it's a marathon, but trust me, the bar will be open. Food upstairs. We got some cake over here. And they're going to move these chairs and the DJ will be spinning, so just roll it out, all right? Check. Don't cry. I've done really good. I've teared up a couple times, but no, if they don't leak, it doesn't count. So I'm going to take credit for it right now, okay? Check. And then the last and most important thing is make sure everybody gets home safely, okay? So listen, in all seriousness, I wouldn't be the Command Sergeant Major if I didn't tell everybody. This is an alcohol event. We have a lot of people in uniform. We are right now in the middle of the Merc Commanders Conference. Both the Merc Commander and myself would consider not only this retirement and our event a complete failure if we have an alcohol-related incident. So please drink responsibly. I have personally paid for a van outside, and I have a driver. If you need a ride, you have it. Come see me or Master Sergeant Lauren. So I want to tell everybody that up front. Safety is very, very important. Okay. So thank God we got that. Oh, wait, there's one more thing. Hit it. Leave no stone unturned. Now, wait a second here. There is something that has been egregiously done, and it has not been recognized. So, hit it. Uh-oh. Mike Robinson, come up here. So just to let everybody know, Mike Robinson and me changed responsibility in the middle of COVID. And when you're doing things in the middle of COVID, nobody's around. There's nothing that can happen. Literally, it was me, him, and General Boris in a lone atrium with people looking at us over the railing like a bunch of lepers. So I want to say this right now. I might be the first MI Sergeant Major of the Merc, but I wouldn't have been without this guy right here. He had the vision and said, hey, we're missing out as a division because we don't have a military intelligence professional talking military intelligence things, not just in USARC, but at Fort Huachuca, in the Army G2, with INSCOM, the National Guard. And Mike, I want you to know, I really focused in on the things that you asked me to do. I have built our bench. The MI population is ready to do great things, but nobody gave him anything when he left here. He literally left and did anything, and I will not leave this position without righting this wrong. So, let me read it. It says, Mike, thank you for your outstanding leadership, your impact to the soldiers, civilians, and families of the Military Intelligence Readiness Command. It will last for generations. We wish you and Kelly the best in your future endeavors, always engaged. Give me a hand for Mike Ryan. And because he was so hot to trot, rocking around, and didn't hug me, now I'm going to concede a little bit of mic time to you because it's really deserved.
Hey, so this goes to show again what great a leader he is. I wasn't expecting that. Babies, lieutenants.
Stop crying.
I took that from Sims. In all seriousness, great leader, man of vision. That's what we're called to do as senior sergeant majors. It's not about us. It's never been about him. It's never been about me. It's been about everybody out in the command. And that's what we've always done. And I wish we could keep him a little bit longer, but I know that's not in the cards because the Queen has spoken. But no, he will be missed around the table. I will miss our conversations. I will miss his input to the senior enlisted council. Yeah, he'll be missed. Thank you. Thank you.
And Mike, I'll just close with this. The Army Reserve needs a sergeant major of the Army Reserve like you. And my greatest hope coming out of this is that you're the next one for us. So I really do hope so. And I know a lot of people in this room believe that as well too. You're ready and you're the best for the job in my eyes. And that means a lot from everybody here. So good luck to you and I hope everything really works out. And when you do get it, I will be there. Okay? So y'all thought that this 150 PowerPoint presentation thing was a joke, so next slide. Okay, look, it's going to be very hard for me to tell, but a lot of the civilians here don't know what I really do in my life. You know, as intelligence professionals, we don't talk about what we do. We don't talk about our successes. We don't talk about our failures. Deke will tell you, we come in on Monday, we high five, we go, yeah, that bad guy's off the face of the earth. High five. And that's about the end of it. And then we go on and find the next bad thing. I'm so happy for my family and friends that you don't know what that world's like. That you live in a country that is great and that you're enjoying your lives and those kind of things. And I want you to continue to do that. But you've heard a couple people talk about me a little bit and say, hey, he's really intense and, you know, he's very direct and he gets to the point on a lot of these things. I'm going to tell you all why. And I want to be honest with everybody. I've never told this story to anyone in my entire life. And I've waited for the right moment to do it because it's what shaped me as a leader, but it's also my greatest failure in life at the same time. And people talk about PTSD. And this story is not going to be a nice one. So if you're expecting a nice story, it's not going to happen. But I need to do this for me. So I just ask that you all please bear with me. Let me say this because I hope at the end of this story that you all feel that the service I gave, the impact I made, that I never let something like this happen again. So, I was in Germany, working at Field Station Augsburg, and by the way, just a note to self, if you ever go into a museum and one of your assignments are there, it's probably a good sign for you to retire. So myself and General Kaczynski were sitting there, and I said, there's Field Station Offer. God dang it, I was assigned there. It's a damn museum artifact out of Fort Huachuca. I looked at him, I said, we gotta get out of here. Interesting story. I was a first-time non-commissioned officer. I was on the night shift. I had a team of 4 soldiers, brand new sergeant, and basically we were the eyes of the Bosnia conflict, meaning that we would look at targets, we'd look for enemy formations, equipment, those type of things. But there also is a very unfriendly, tedious, every imagery analyst hates this mission. It's called broad area search. So the best way I can describe it without us all peeing our pants is it's like finding a needle in a haystack. You basically are like, hey, look for anything that looks unusual. What the hell does that mean? You know, so basically you do those kind of things. So I don't remember most of my days in the Army. I mean, 35 years, they all fade away, but I remember everything about this night. Every single thing. The food I ate in the German cantina, exactly what I did, the hours I worked, everything about this night. It is etched in my mind forever. When you don't like to do something, the human nature and tendency is to not do it till you have to. And I was guilty of that. So, since I was the shift leader, you know, when you're working in the middle of the night, we had soldiers come up and say different things and like, hey, I got to go to the gym, or I got to do this. And you know, you sit back and it's a long shift. It's a 12-hour shift. So at the end of the night, there's one target left. Guess which one it was? The broad area search target. And I was like, oh crap, I guess I'm going to have to do this. So I did this, and I found a refinery in the countryside of Bosnia, and it was some sort of refinery, probably timber or something like that. But what was very unusual about that target was this was a very contested area, and there were 4 buses parked out in front of it. And I immediately knew that was not normal, right? Because it was an abandoned factory, it was a war, and there were 4 buses. So I knew this was a significant find. And in the military intelligence world, we send out what's called a flash message, which is, hey, you know, this is so unusual, and you need to go investigate this like right now. So it goes all the way up to the 4-star UCOM commander, and then they start like really doing stuff. So unfortunately, this was an ethnic cleansing site. For those of you that don't know what that is, that's where they take people based on your religion and exterminate you, very much like the Holocaust. There were many people rescued from that facility in the 20s or 30s. I don't remember, because all I can remember is the people they found in the shallow grave behind it, and that number was 336. Which is kind of ironic for the Merc people here, because we have a brigade that's the 336. And every time I hear the 336, it just brings back a lot of painful memories on a mission where I, as leader, I feel failed. I should have did those things early. I just can't imagine what it's like to be tortured and killed in a camp, and what 5 and 10 minutes would mean to somebody. And it was my fault. I should have did that target first. But I want everybody to know that why I'm so intense, why I say do the hard things first, is because of this. I don't want to be this way. I just don't know how to do anything else. Now, I don't know if I'm responsible for any of those people that were killed. But deep down in my heart, I believe so. And for the ones that were rescued, they endured hours more than they had to just because I waited to do that target last. I have spent my entire life and career trying to atone for this mistake. It came at the expense of my family, my friends, and I think you guys call me OCD, but it's really not. It's like there can be no stone left unturned, and it's because of this. So 2 things for my family and friends I want you to know is what I did mattered my whole life. And I'm very sorry for this. And I learned a very valuable lesson, and it has shaped me. And it's probably the reason why I stayed so long. is I just felt like I needed to do more, to train people to do more and more and more. I want to thank all of you for allowing me to share this with you because, again, maybe now I can start to forgive myself. And for those people that didn't make it that day, and for those that did, I just want to say I'm sorry, and I never let something like that ever happen again. Okay. Thanks a lot. One more talk about it. The best way to do a retirement is really tell a story, have a hope, and then just have a walk. Okay? So, and again, I know we all got a piece on her. So I want to talk about a little bit about what an American is to me. So the American military, and again, the reason why we're all dressed like this today for the civilians in here today is I want you to see us at our best because the military is a microcosm of American society. And to be honest with you, if you leave and tell the story of what you saw today and you realize that we are a giant family that really loves and cares about each other, that's not replicated outside of your own personal families. It's such a true thing. You heard what the people came up and said, the recognition of Jen, the recognition of all these people that were in here, the way we congregate together. You will not find that in any Fortune 500 company or any workplace or none of that. It's only in a place like this. So remember what you saw here. And for the young people in the room today, you remember what you saw here today too, because we need everybody to help tell our story. The American society and the military need to reconnect again, like when I first joined. We are a society now where difference of opinion means fighting right off. And I really appreciate Colonel Putnam's comments about, he's right, we don't agree on everything. But when we leave the room, we're not mad at each other anymore. We a lot of times we'll say, I never really thought about that. I mean, there's all these different things. And one of the things that I think goes a lot is that our society looks to first responders, teachers, military as heroes. I have a problem with that. I chose a path. If you want to see me as that, that's you. But I'll be honest with you. What a hero is to me is somebody that gets up and General McChrystal said it best. It's the young man that gets up and makes his bed every day. Being a good American is not waiting until there's a natural disaster to help. But when you see somebody on the side of the road, you stop to help. My family does this. We help each other. But that is not where America is right now. And we need to do a much better job. So I challenge everybody in here that if we're going to be the great country that I know we are, that I've fought for and served for so long, it really takes all of us to get after that, okay? Everybody in the nation needs to do their part. One of the most proud things that myself and Jennifer did over the last month is we did hometown recruiting. I went into high schools and talked to young Americans. And to be honest with you, I'm so grateful that I did that because I actually had people come up to me and just wanted help and to know more about us. And when I asked them all these type of things, and I said, what do you do? Well, they really aren't doing anything. And this is where the youth of America today really could use a boost from all of us. And that is to make them better Americans. So my hope for everybody is that we really remember what it was like when the greatest army of World War II was out there and the whole nation was behind them. This country's been at war up until recently for 20 straight years. And I watched it taper off. And now we've got these existential threats with real people that mean our way of life a great danger. And we need our country back. And my hope is that we get that. I wanted to quote something so that everybody knows exactly how I feel. People come up to me and they ask me, they say, hey, you're an American hero. And I always answer them with the same thing. I say, I'm not a hero. I just have the pleasure to live next to and serve with real heroes. They're the ones that make America the best place in the world to live in and worth defending. And that is my hope for all of you. Next slide. Don't worry, only 135 more. All right. Thank you. So I guess the secret's out on the mean sergeant major is that he's got a heart. I do. And I really appreciate Colonel Adamski mentioning the nuggets in the rucksack. It's in your program. I honestly believe if I would have had all those 30 years ago, I might be president of the United States. So, or at least a senator somewhere. I'm going to be honest with you. Those are the things that I have learned. They are truly my most precious treasures, and I share them all with you. And listen, they're not all ones that I made up. They're ones that I met through leaders that believe that or told me that. These are the best of the best out of my rucksack. So I want you all to have those. I can't thank everybody in the room because, like I said, we all have to pee, okay? But I do want to thank some people. I want to thank my wife. Thank you so much for everything that you've done. All the things we did tonight, you deserve that and so much more. And you say I never recognize you, but listen, I'm saying it in front of everybody in the room. You deserve better than me. You deserve better than anything that you've got. I'm so glad that you're my wife. I'm so glad that I married you, and I'm so glad of what you do for our family and friends and everybody else. If you really want to see an American hero, that's one right there. You know? The next thing I want to thank is my children. You know, I went up to them privately and said some things that was just for them. But listen, they didn't sign up for this, and they have paid a terrible cost, an absolute terrible cost. Nobody expects to not have their parents around. They're the rock in your life. And for you three, I just want to say, I am so sorry. But what I hope you leave with today is knowing from what you've seen, what you've heard, that I really was making a difference for other people that needed me just as much as you. I'm not making excuses. I just want to say I'm sorry. And I'm sorry for anything I never did for you. I've always loved you. I hope you feel that way. And if not, I'm going to spend most of my retirement trying to spend more time with you, more time with Cyrus and my grandson than I have not had time for. I just hope you realize that the military, this family, and people like the 336 are really out there. There are people in Gaza right now that are literally need us. They need our help. Okay? There are people in Ukraine that need our help. There are people over in the Pacific region that need our help. And all these people you see in uniform are getting after that every day. It is the most thankless and selfless thing. But I want you to know, I'm sorry that it came at a little bit of expense to you three. I'm very sorry. And a part of me will never forgive myself. But I hope that you see this today and understand why. Okay. I want to thank my parents. My father, he's here. He lives with me, so the great part is I get to see him every day. Jen sees more of him than I do. So guess what, old man? You're stuck with me more. Yeah, so that's going to be good. You know what that means?
You better get a job.
You know what that means? I'm getting some man cave time back, all right? But no, Dad, just listen, the one thing that I've never said, and I'll say it in front of everybody, is you worked very hard for us. I know you did. And I really appreciate what you did for us as kids. My sister, who you see is not here, is not able to say that. She felt the same way. Your parents just try to do as best as they can for you to make you better Americans, right? And I'd like to say that my sister would, my sister watched my kids every time I got mobilized, deployed, or had to go TDY. She even did it when she had cancer. My mother was watching my kids for a full year when she had cancer. And if that's not people that support you, I don't know what is. And there's just nothing really I can say to them except thank you. You're here today. I'm glad that you could be here today. And we miss you. My in-laws, both you and Jerry. So it's always hard losing a mom, but it's nice when you get one that's as great as my mother-in-law. Carol, thank you for everything. You and Jerry both just welcomed me into your family, and yeah, and her money. Just all the things that you did for us. When we had to move on a notice, you were always there for us. I just can't say enough. Thank you so much. Yeah, and I'm so glad that you're a part of my family. Don't worry, Jody, it's not 7 yet. Go Big Red. Okay? All right. So my extended family, they're here. My Aunt Joyce, I wouldn't be in the Army without her. She said, look, dumbass, you're going to have to go do something. So, and you know what? The guy behind me did pretty good. And what do you do? And I went to the recruiting station and signed up. And I hate to say it, but it must be a Bertazon thing because my son came home from college and did the same thing. So I think when you're lost, you just need somebody to push you. I really thank you for that. None of this would happen without a simple conversation in the kitchen. And to my cousins, and my cousin's fiance, Mark, and everybody else, and my second cousins, and their girlfriends and wives. It's always nice when I've been on the road up here. I can always count on stopping up, having a meal, seeing people, hanging out, and just spending quality family time. And as you can see, it's something that I've sacrificed greatly, and I've always been super appreciative for everything that you have ever done for me. And if I haven't said it, I'm saying it now in front of all these people. I love you all, and I feel like I have two houses, one in Florida and one in Maryland, because I can get on the phone and just show up any day. And everybody's going to drop what they do unless they're in Ocean City, of course, or hunting. But other than that, they'll say the key's on the mat, food's in the fridge, grab something. So thank you all so much for that. All right. I have a lot of NGA people out here today, and I'm going to tell you this. My poor boss, Deke, over here, he's dying without me. You can imagine. I mean, if you support special operations and you've got people out everywhere, and your deputy is hoity-toitying around at the Belvoir Officers Club, stuff's not getting done. So, Deke, I want to say this to you, Chris Jarvis, Tim Perks. I mean, I can name a ton of people. I've got Katry and Drew in here. I've got Matt Barras in here, my Latin American travel buddy who picked me up. I've got a lot of guys from the company I work with, 3 Gimbals, that are here. I mean, all these people have picked up and did my responsibilities when I came and did this. So it's not just your family, it's not just your teammates in the Army, it's actually when you have a great team and your civilian job, and this is across multiple assignments in Miami and Tampa. I've always had the support there, and for all of you, I just want to say, and Cody too. Where's Cody at? Yeah, Cody's there too. These people just stayed late, did my job, filled in for me, went TDY, and for that, I can never repay you all, but I really want to acknowledge you here today and say thank you all so, so much for doing that for me. It really made this dual, I almost feel like they say they've got people with multiple families. I feel like I'm one of those people, right? And I got to pick one or the other at any given time, and I just kind of see Jen in the middle, right? I mean, it's like a weird thing, but I really feel blessed for that. Thanks. I want to thank all my command team members, Mike Robinson. I want to thank General Boris. I want to thank General Dazinski. I want to thank Colonel Adamski, all my commanders, Colonel Brown, and all my sergeants majors that are in here today that have really done the heavy lifting. Thank you all so much. And as you know, I say at the end of every one of our calls, please tell your families thank you, because I know what I'm asking of you. And you never bat an eye, you never blink, and you're always there for this command. And that is so admirable. And although today's my day, you all deserve days like this, and everybody in here that's wearing the uniform does. I want to say thanks to those online. There's a lot of people who couldn't make it that are watching this ceremony. So for my friends Rodney down in Florida, I've got Chief Barber out in San Antonio, I've got some of my mates out of Fort Huachuca watching. There's quite a few people online, and for those that are watching today, I really want to say thank you for joining us virtually today. I think you only thought it was going to be an hour and had no idea that we'd be breaking peeing records in the process of this. So, I had the opportunity to be the presiding officer over at the Fort Myer retirement ceremony on Thursday, and I just want to tell you all, my team and the command group, signed me up and really didn't tell me too much about it. But you know what they say, the best things in the Army are the things you're not told about, and somebody just does on your behalf. So I don't know where they're at, but Master Sergeant Loring, Sergeant Marrero, Miss Miller's here. I saw her if she's still here. I just want to thank you all for doing that. Reviewing troops and the Continental Guard with Major General Bradenkamp was really a highlight of my life. I didn't expect it to be so amazing, and I just wanted to say thank you. Does everybody still got their program? I didn't want to go through the nuggets, but I did want to tell you, for those that really know me, know that there's one that matters and one that matters the most. It's the most important nugget, and it's one that is 100% true. You have to love your soldiers to lead them. It is the only time you will place their needs above your own. The only people you will do that for is your personal family. But I want everybody to know, I answer every call, I answer every commander's call, and I say I love you to everybody. And I don't mean it in that, just like it says up there. You all will ever know. Many people think that life and prosperity are queen. We're not. Most of the people in the room here think this is a little over the top. This is the best money and time I've ever spent, in my opinion. Just to say the things I have, just to tell you all how I feel. So, since we all still have to go to the bathroom, I'm going to end with this. So this is it. I say goodbye to this chapter of my ever-changing life. There's been mistakes. The path was long. Please don't say goodbye. Just say so long. But know, most of all, I'll miss you when I'm gone. Always engaged.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the benediction and the singing of the Army Song, and remain standing for the departure of the official party.
Before we do the benediction, had a few speakers go off script tonight. Thank you, ma'am, for your leadership in that regard. So I'm going to go off script for just a moment, because I do believe I have an important word to say. So, Sergeant, thank you for sharing this story about Belvoir. But I want to say something to you and to every veteran here who has had to deal with life and death. I feel compelled by God to say this. You did not cause their death. I say that as a minister of the gospel, ordained minister, under the authority of Jesus Christ. Because he says in the book of Revelation, he holds the keys to life and death. You do not, I do not, none of the soldiers, service members in this room hold those keys to life and death. I truly believe he had purpose in that for you, for what followed in your career, what you described. So you are not, I'm giving you absolution under the authority of the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Whoa.
That's the end of the off-scriptness. So we're going to go back on script here. Please bow with me in a word of benediction. Our gracious God and Heavenly Father, we thank you for your many blessings, including your presence with us here tonight. We again pray for your special blessing and favor, peace upon Command Sergeant Major Bertazon, and as he transitions to his new life as a civilian. May your favor, grace, blessing rest upon him now and in the days to come. As we prepare to fellowship with one another and as we leave this place, we pray that your goodness, your love, your mercy, and your protection would go with us all. We pray this all in the matchless name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Belt that shit out.
March along, sing our song, we're the army of the free. Count the brave, count the true, who have fought to victory. We're the army and proud of our name. We're the army and proudly proclaim. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might. And the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won. And the army goes rolling along. And it's high, high, hey, the army's on its way. Count off the cadence loud and strong. For wherever you go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along.
On behalf of Brigadier General Boris, thank you for attending today's event. As Ice Cube said, today was a good day.
There you go.
Please congratulate Command Sergeant Major Bertazon and Mrs. Agnew, along with Brigadier General Morrison, at the receiving line located in the rear of the main hall. The reception will immediately follow the dinner located upstairs in the first county garden. This room is located directly up the stairs on the second floor.